She walked away after one lie, but when the truth finally came out, it shattered everyone's world. Welcome to True Soul Narratives, where every story carries a heartbeat, love, betrayal, forgiveness, and the courage to start again. If this story resonates with you, subscribe and leave a like. Now, let's return to the story. The church was perfect, absolutely perfect. White roses cascaded down every pew. Soft music drifted through the air from a string quartet in the corner. 200 guests sat in their finest clothes, whispering excitedly, checking their watches, waiting for the bride to appear. At the altar, Ryan Mitchell stood in his tailored tuxedo, hands clasped in front of him. 32 years old, successful architect, a man who'd spent a year planning this moment down to the last detail. But something was wrong. His best man, Derek, leaned in close. "She's 20 minutes late, man." Ryan's throat tightened. 20 minutes. Sophia was never late. She was organized, punctual, the kind of person who showed up 15 minutes early to everything. His phone buzzed in his pocket. Thank God. Finally, he pulled it out, expecting a message about traffic or a last-minute dress emergency. Something fixable. Something normal. But when he read the text, his entire world stopped. "I can't marry you. I'm sorry. I know what you did. Don't come looking for me." The phone slipped from his suddenly nerveless fingers, clattered onto the marble floor. The sound echoed through the church like a gunshot. His face went pale, ghostly white. His hands started shaking, trembling so badly he had to grip the altar rail to stay upright. Derek caught the phone, read the message, his eyes going wide. "Ryan, what?" But Ryan couldn't speak, couldn't breathe. The room tilted, spun. He collapsed into the chair behind the altar, his legs giving out completely. The guests noticed. Of course they noticed. Whispers rippled through the church like a wave. Confused murmurs, concerned faces turning toward each other. Ryan's mother stood from the front pew. "Ryan, sweetheart, what's happening?" He couldn't answer her, couldn't look at her. His mind was racing, screaming. "What I did? What is she talking about? I didn't do anything. I didn't." How did everything fall apart so fast? 1 year earlier, Ryan Mitchell's life had been exactly what he'd built it to be. Successful, structured, focused. He was 32 years old, partner at Morrison and Associates, one of the most prestigious architecture firms in the city. He designed buildings that changed skylines, created spaces where people lived, worked, dreamed. He was good at his job, exceptional actually, but he was also a workaholic. 12-hour days, weekend meetings. His life was blueprints and deadlines and the satisfaction of seeing his designs become reality. He didn't have time for relationships, didn't make time, until he met Sophia Hayes. It was a charity event, one of those black tie galas Ryan attended because networking was part of the job. He was standing by the bar checking emails on his phone when he saw her. She was looking at a painting on the wall, really looking at it, not the polite glance most people gave art at these events. Deep concentration, like she was having a conversation with the canvas. She was beautiful. That was obvious. Dark hair falling in waves past her shoulders, a emerald dress that caught the light. But it was the way she looked at that painting that made Ryan walk over. "What do you see?" he asked. She didn't startle, just smiled without looking away from the art. "Loneliness, disguised as independence." Ryan blinked. "That's specific." The artist painted this during a difficult divorce. She thought she was celebrating her freedom. But look at the brushstrokes. Jagged, uncertain. She was terrified. She finally turned to face him. Her eyes were warm, intelligent, alive with passion. "I'm Sophia. I'm a curator at the Modern Gallery downtown." "Ryan, I'm an architect. I design buildings." "And do your buildings tell stories the way paintings do?" He'd never thought about it like that. "I hope so." They talked and talked and talked. Hours passed. The gala ended. People left. Ryan and Sophia stood in that emptying ballroom, still talking about art and architecture and the way spaces made people feel. When he finally checked his watch, it was past midnight. I should let you go, he said, though he didn't want to. Or, Sophia said, a playful smile on her lips, you could ask me out properly. Ryan laughed. Would you like to have dinner with me tomorrow night? Yes, I like that very much. Their first date was perfect. Dinner at a small Italian restaurant, conversation that flowed like water, laughter that felt effortless. Their second date was even better. And the third, and the fourth. 6 months passed like 6 minutes. Ryan had never believed in soulmates, in perfect matches, in the idea that one person could complete you. But Sophia changed that. She challenged him, made him think differently about his work, about his life. She dragged him to art galleries and made him see beauty in ways he'd never noticed. And he showed her the hidden architecture of the city, the designs people walk past without seeing. They fit perfectly, like two pieces of a puzzle that had been searching for each other. Ryan knew. He just knew. This was it. She was it. So he planned the proposal. He spent weeks coordinating with the modern gallery where Sophia worked, arranged for after-hours access, had her favorite paintings moved to the central room, hundreds of candles, soft music playing. When he brought her there, telling her it was a surprise work event, her face lit up. Ryan, what is this? He led her to the center of the room surrounded by the art she loved, by the paintings she'd studied, by the beauty that made her eyes shine. And he got down on one knee. Sophia Hayes, you are my masterpiece. You've taken my structured, organized, black and white life and filled it with color, with passion, with meaning. His voice cracked with emotion. Will you marry me? She was crying, happy tears streaming down her face. Yes, 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 yes. He slipped the ring on her finger, stood, kissed her as she laughed and cried at the same time. Wedding planning began immediately. Sophia dove into it with the same passion she brought to everything. She chose venues and flowers and colors and music. Ryan helped when he could, but work was demanding. He'd landed the biggest project of his career, the Riverside Complex, a mixed-use building that would define the waterfront. 50 stories, commercial, residential, public spaces. His design, his vision. It meant late nights, stress, deadlines that felt impossible. But Sophia understood. She brought him dinner at the office, massaged his shoulders when tension made them ache, reminded him to breathe when the pressure felt crushing. Just a few more months, he'd say. Then the wedding, then I'm all yours. She'd smile, kiss his forehead. I'll be here, always. Everything was perfect. Everything was falling into place. Until it wasn't. If you're hooked on this story and need to know what tore them apart, hit that subscribe button right now. We share incredible stories about love, betrayal, lies that destroy everything, and the truth that heals. You won't want to miss what happens next. Here's a question for you. Have you ever been accused of something you didn't do? Drop your story in the comments below. And 1 week before the wedding, Ryan was drowning in work. The Riverside Complex deadline had been moved up. Again. The clients wanted changes. The engineering team found structural issues. Everything that could go wrong was going wrong. It was 9:47 p.m. on a Tuesday. The office was empty except for Ryan, hunched over his drafting table, surrounded by blueprints and cold coffee. He was exhausted, stressed, running on fumes. That's when she walked in. Jessica. Ryan looked up, and for a moment he thought he was hallucinating. Jessica Moore, his ex-girlfriend from 3 years ago. The relationship that had ended badly. Screaming matches, broken trust. They hadn't spoken since. Jessica? His voice was confused, wary. What are you doing here? She stood in the doorway of his office, looking nervous, uncomfortable. I need to talk to you. It's important. Ryan's first instinct was to say no, to tell her to leave. But something in her expression stopped him. She looked genuinely distressed. First mistake. Okay, come in. She sat across from him, fidgeted with her hands, wouldn't meet his eyes. I heard you're getting married, she said quietly. Yes, next week. Silence. Heavy, awkward. Then Jessica started crying, not dramatic sobs, quiet tears that slipped down her cheeks despite her obvious attempts to hold them back. I made a mistake, Ryan, leaving you. I've thought about it every day for 3 years. Ryan's stomach dropped. Jessica, don't. Is there any chance? Any chance at all for us? He stood up, firm, clear. No, absolutely not. I'm getting married. I live in Sophia. What we had is over. It's been over. Jessica stood too, tears flowing faster now. I know. I know, but I had to ask. I had to tell you before it was too late. And then she did something Ryan didn't expect. She hugged him, just wrapped her arms around him and held on like she was drowning, and he was the only thing keeping her above water. Ryan froze. He should have pushed her away immediately, should have created distance. Second mistake, he hesitated. Just for 2 seconds. 2 seconds of awkward paralysis while his brain tried to figure out the right way to handle this without being cruel. That's when the door opened and Sophia walked in. She was holding a bag of takeout, his favorite Thai food, a surprise dinner because she knew he was working late and probably hadn't eaten. She stopped dead in the doorway. The food container slipped from her hands, crashed onto the floor. Noodles and sauce exploding across the tile in a mess of broken plastic and shattered expectations. Ryan jumped back, away from Jessica, his heart stopping completely. Sophia! Sophia just stared. Her face went through a dozen emotions in 3 seconds. Confusion, understanding, shock, betrayal, pain, so much pain. Jessica turned and her face showed something that might have been gouged, or might have been something else. Oh God, I'm so sorry. I didn't know she was coming. Sophia's eyes were locked on Ryan. How long? Her voice was barely a whisper, barely audible over the sound of his heart pounding in his ears. Nothing is happening. Ryan's words tumbled out, desperate and frantic. She just showed up. I was telling her to leave. You were hugging her. Sophia's voice was flat now, dead. Like something inside her had already shut down. She was crying. It meant nothing. Sophia, please, this isn't a week before our wedding, Ryan? The words hit him like a physical blow. It's not what you think. But Sophia was already backing away, shaking her head, tears streaming down her face. Sophia, wait! She turned and ran. Ryan chased after her, leaving Jessica standing in his office. He caught up to Sophia in the parking lot, grabbed her arm gently. Please, just listen to me. She yanked her arm away. I trusted you. You can trust me. Nothing happened. She came here uninvited. I rejected her. That's it. Sophia was sobbing now. Full, wrenching sobs. Don't lie to me, Ryan. Lauren told me she saw Jessica around your office building 3 times this week. Ryan felt the world tilt. What? That's not possible. I haven't seen her until tonight. More lies. Sophia's voice broke completely. Lauren warned me. She said Jessica was back in town, that she'd been asking about you. And I defended you. I said you would never. Because I wouldn't. I didn't. Sophia, I swear on everything. I haven't seen Jessica until tonight. But Sophia wasn't listening anymore. She was getting into her car, fumbling with her keys, tears blinding her. Sophia, please, don't do this. Don't leave like this. She started the engine, looked at him through the window, and the look in her eyes destroyed him. It wasn't anger, it was heartbreak. Pure, devastating heartbreak. Then she drove away. Ryan stood in that parking lot, watching her taillights disappear, his mind racing, spinning, trying to understand what had just happened. Lauren saw Jessica 3 times this week? That was impossible. He'd been at the construction site all week, not even in the office. Something was wrong, something didn't add up. But he couldn't think, couldn't process. All he could feel was panic. The next few days were a nightmare. Ryan called Sophia 20 times, 50 times. She didn't answer. He texted, long explanations, short pleas, desperate apologies for something he didn't even do. Nothing. He showed up at her apartment, knocked, pounded, begged through the door. Sophia, please, just give me 5 minutes. Let me explain. No answer. Her parents called him. Her father's voice was cold. disappointed. She needs space, Ryan. What you did was unforgivable. I didn't do anything. Ryan's voice cracked. Why won't anyone believe me? Because Lauren showed us the photos. Jessica at your office building, multiple times. The evidence is clear. Photos? Ryan's mind reeled. I wasn't even there those days. I was at the construction site. That's convenient. Her father's tone said he didn't believe a word. Leave our daughter alone. The line went dead. Ryan tried at reaching out to Sophia's friends, to anyone who might listen. Lauren was the worst. Sophia's best friend. The woman who'd been by her side through everything. She looked at Ryan with pure contempt. I saw the evidence. Just admit it, Ryan. You were cheating. Own up to it. I wasn't cheating. I have never cheated. Then explain the photos. Explain why Jessica was at your building all week. I don't know. I wasn't there. Lauren's eyes narrowed. Liar. Ryan felt like he was drowning, suffocating. Everyone believed a lie he couldn't even understand. He sent flowers to Sophia's apartment. They were left outside, wilting. He wrote letters, explanations, apologies, declarations of love. He slipped them under her door. No response. He couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. Work was falling apart. His boss called him concerned. Ryan, you need to take some time. Get your head together. But Ryan couldn't give up, wouldn't give up. The wedding was still planned, still scheduled. Maybe she just needed time. Maybe she'd show up. Maybe they could fix this. He had to believe that. Had to hope. Wedding day arrived. Ryan put on his tuxedo, went to the church, stood at that altar, and waited, and waited, and waited. 20 minutes late. Then his phone buzzed, and his world ended all over again. Ryan stood at the altar, the text message burning in his hands like hot coals. 200 faces stared at him, waiting, confused, concerned. His best man touched his shoulder. Ryan, what do we do? Ryan's throat was so tight he could barely force the words out. There won't be a wedding today. The church erupted. Gasps, whispers, shocked exclamations. People turning to each other, trying to understand what was happening. Some stood. Others stayed seated, frozen in disbelief. The humiliation was crushing, suffocating. Every eye on him, every whisper about him. The groom abandoned at the altar, the man whose bride fled. His mother rushed forward, tears already streaming down her face. Ryan, sweetheart, what happened? What did you do? Those words, what did you do? Like he was guilty, like he'd caused this. I didn't do anything. His voice came out too loud, desperate, raw. I swear I didn't do anything. But he saw it, in his mother's eyes, in Derek's face, in every guest who looked at him. Doubt, they didn't believe him. Why would a bride run unless the groom had done something unforgivable? Ryan stumbled out of the church, past pitying looks and whispered conversations, past his father trying to reach for him, past everything. He got in his car and just drove, nowhere, everywhere, until he couldn't see through his tears anymore. The days after the failed wedding blurred together into one endless nightmare. Ryan couldn't function, couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. He'd lie in bed staring at the ceiling, replaying that moment over and over. Jessica hugging him, Sophia walking in, the look on her face. Work called, his boss concerned. Ryan, you need to take time off, get yourself together. But Ryan couldn't get himself together. Everything was falling apart. He went to Sophia's apartment building, stood outside like some kind of stalker, pressed the buzzer for her unit. No answer. He tried again and again. Finally, another tenant came out. She doesn't live here anymore. Moved out 3 days ago. Moved out? Ryan felt the ground disappear beneath his feet. He drove to the modern gallery where she worked, asked for her at the front desk. The receptionist gave him a sympathetic look. Ms. Hayes took a leave of absence, indefinitely. Do you know where she went? I'm not at liberty to say. He called her parents again. Her mother answered this time. Her voice was cold, clipped. You broke our daughter's heart. Leave her alone, Ryan. Please, please, just tell me where she is. I need to talk to her. You've done enough damage. The line went dead. Ryan sat in his apartment that night. The apartment that should have been empty because he should have been on his honeymoon. Instead, it was filled with wedding gifts. Boxes and boxes of them. Blenders and picture frames and champagne flutes for a marriage that would never happen. He picked up their engagement photo, the one from the gallery, Sophia's face glowing with happiness, his smile so wide it hurt to look at now. "What did I do wrong?" he whispered to the empty room. But the room had no answers. 2 weeks crawled by, 2 weeks of Ryan existing in a fog, going through motions, barely surviving. Then, on a gray Tuesday morning, he went to get coffee, and he saw Michelle, Sophia's friend. Not her best friend, not part of the inner circle, but someone who'd always been kind to Ryan. Someone who'd seemed genuine. Their eyes met across the coffee shop. Michelle's face filled with sympathy. She walked over, hesitant. "I'm sorry about everything, Ryan." He looked at her, really looked at her, and saw something in her expression. Guilt? Uncertainty? "Michelle, please." His voice cracked. "Tell me where she is. I just need to explain. 5 minutes, that's all I'm asking." Michelle bit her lip, looked around like she was afraid of being overheard. "Ryan, Lauren said you were cheating for weeks, that it wasn't just one night." "Lauren?" Ryan's blood ran cold. "What does Lauren have to do with this?" "She's the one who told Sophia about Jessica. She had photos. Evidence." Ryan felt his heart start to pound. "Photos? Of what?" Michelle pulled out her phone, scrolled through old messages, showed Ryan time-stamped photographs. Jessica walking into his office building. Different days, different times. Monday at 2:15 p.m., Wednesday at 10:30 a.m., Thursday at 4 o'clock p.m., Friday at noon, all during the week before the wedding. But Ryan stared at those timestamps, and something clicked in his mind. "I wasn't there." His voice was quiet, certain. "What?" "I wasn't in the office any of those days. I was at the Riverside construction site all week. My entire team can confirm it." Michelle's eyes widened. "But then who was Jessica visiting?" "That's what I need to find out." Ryan left the coffee shop with purpose burning in his chest for the first time in 2 weeks. He drove to his office building, went straight on to the security desk in the lobby. The guard, Marcus, had worked there for 15 years. Knew everyone. "Mr. Mitchell, good to see you, sir. I heard about..." "I'm sorry." "Marcus, I need your help. That week before my wedding, do you remember a woman coming in? Blonde, about 5'6", asking for me?" Marcus frowned, thoughtful. "Mr. Mitchell, I remember that week. That woman did come in, multiple times." Ryan's heart raced. "And?" "But she wasn't asking for you, sir. She was visiting someone else." "Who?" Marcus pulled up the visitor logs on his computer, scrolled through entries. "Thomas Reynolds, 15th floor, Monroe Architecture." Thomas Reynolds. The name meant nothing to Ryan. He didn't know the man personally. Different firm, different floor. But something tugged at his memory, something Sophia had mentioned months ago. Thomas and Lauren. They dated briefly last year. It had ended badly. Sophia said Lauren had been hurt. Ryan's blood turned to ice as the pieces started falling into place. "Marcus, can I see the security footage from those days? I'd need authorization. Please, my entire life depends on this." Something in Ryan's voice must have convinced him. Marcus pulled up the footage, and there it was, clear as day, Jessica entering the building, taking the elevator to the 15th floor, never coming to Ryan's office on the 12th. Every single visit went to Thomas Reynolds. But Lauren had taken photos, angled them to make it look like Jessica was there for Ryan, sent them to Sophia, planted the seed of doubt days before that fateful night, primed Sophia to expect betrayal. So when Sophia walked in and saw that innocent hug, it confirmed everything Lauren had been telling her. But why? Why would Lauren do this? Ryan pulled out his phone, scrolled through old contacts, found Jessica's number from when she called his office. She answered on the third ring. Wary. "Ryan, did Lauren contact you? Tell you to come to my office that night?" "I don't know anyone named Lauren." "Think before you came to see me. Did anyone encourage you, tell you to get closure?" Long pause, so long Ryan thought she'd hung up. Then quietly, There was a woman at a bar a few days before I came to see you. We got talking. She asked about my past relationships. I mentioned you, that you were getting married. Ryan's heart pounded so hard he thought it might break through his ribs. What did she say? She said I should get closure, that I'd regret it if I didn't talk to you before the wedding. She said unresolved feelings poison everything. What did she look like? Brunette, late 20s, pretty, intense eyes. Lauren, it was Lauren. Ryan felt everything click into place. The photos, the timing, Jessica showing up that exact night. Sophia arriving at the exact moment to see the hug. None of it was coincidence. It was orchestrated, manipulated, planned. But why? Why would Sophia's best friend destroy her happiness? Ryan gripped his phone so tight his knuckles turned white. He was going to find out. And when he did, everyone would know the truth. Ryan drove straight to Lauren's apartment. His hands gripped the steering wheel so tight his knuckles turned white. His jaw clenched, his mind racing with fury and clarity. He pounded on her door, hard, relentless. "Open up, Lauren. I know what you did." The door opened slowly. Lauren stood there in casual clothes, her expression carefully neutral. Fake innocent. "Ryan? What are you talking about?" "You set me up." His voice was low, dangerous. "You manipulated Jessica into coming to my office. You took photos to make it look like an affair. You destroyed my relationship." Lauren's mask slipped, just for a second, a flicker of something dark in her eyes. Then she recovered. "You can't prove anything." Ryan pulled out his phone, shoved it in her face. Security footage, timestamps, visitor logs. "I have security footage. I have dates. I wasn't even in the building when you took those photos. Jessica was visiting Thomas Reynolds, your ex, and you orchestrated the whole thing." Lauren's face hardened. The fake innocence evaporated completely. "So what? Sophia deserves better than you anyway." The words hung in the air like poison. Ryan stared at her, really stared at her, and suddenly everything made sense. The warnings, the photos, the perfect timing. "Why?" His voice cracked. "Why would you do this to your best friend?" Lauren's jaw tightened, her hands clenched into fists at her sides. "Because she deserves someone better. Someone like—" She stopped, caught herself, but it was too late. Realization hit Ryan like a freight train. "Someone like who?" His voice was quiet now, understanding dawning. "You? This is about you being in love with Sophia." Lauren's eyes filled with tears, angry tears, years of buried feelings erupting all at once. "I've loved her for years, years," her voice broke. "I was there for everything, every bad date, every heartbreak, every moment. And then you showed up and she looked at you the way she never looked at me." Ryan felt sick. "So you destroyed her happiness? You made her think I betrayed her? The person she loved most? She would have been miserable with you eventually." Lauren was crying now, full angry sobs. "I was protecting her." "Protecting her?" Ryan's voice rose. "You manipulated her. You used her trust against her. You broke her heart because you couldn't stand that she chose me." Lauren's face twisted with rage and pain. "Get out. I'm telling her everything." Lauren laughed, a bitter, broken sound. "Good luck with that. She won't take your calls. She won't see you. She hates you, Ryan. And you know what? That's your fault. You let Jessica hug you. You gave me the perfect moment." Ryan stepped closer. "No, this is on you, all of it, and Sophia will know the truth." He turned and walked away, leaving Lauren standing in her doorway, tears streaming down her face, the weight of her betrayal finally visible. Ryan's hands were shaking as he got back in his car. He sat there for a moment, breathing, trying to process everything. Then he called Sophia's parents. Her father answered. His voice was cold. "I told you to stop calling." "Sir, please, just listen. I have proof I didn't cheat. Lauren set me up. She manipulated everything. I can prove it." Long silence. Ryan's heart pounded. "Please, I'm begging you, just hear me out." What are you talking about? Her father's voice had changed, less cold, more uncertain. Ryan explained everything: the security footage, the visitor logs, Jessica's statement, Lauren's confession, every piece of the puzzle. When he finished, there was another long silence. Then her father's voice, quiet and shocked. "Oh my God. I'm telling the truth, sir. I've been telling the truth this whole time. Lauren was in love with Sophia. She couldn't stand that Sophia chose me. So she destroyed us." He heard Sophia's father take a shaky breath. "Sophia's at her grandmother's cottage, Lake Haven. But Ryan, she's not doing well." Ryan's chest tightened. "What do you mean?" She's, she's broken. Hasn't eaten properly in weeks. Barely sleeping. She won't talk to anyone. This destroyed her." Ryan felt his heart shatter all over again. "I'm going to fix this. I promise you. I'm going to fix this." He hung up and immediately pulled up directions. Lake Haven, 3 hours north. He drove, fast, focused, his mind rehearsing what he'd say. How do you explain this? How do you tell someone that their best friend, the person they trusted most, betrayed them so completely? Would Sophia even listen? Would she believe him after everything? What if she didn't? What if he'd lost her forever because of Lauren's lies? The thoughts spiraled as the miles passed. Trees replaced buildings. City gave way to countryside. The sun started to set, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink. Let's play a game. If you're truly watching and not just scrolling through comments, type "Truth Heals" in the comments below. Only those who made it this far will understand what happens next. Finally, after 3 hours that felt like 3 years, Ryan pulled up to the cottage. It was small, charming, right on the edge of a lake that reflected the fading sunlight like a mirror. The kind of place that should have felt peaceful. But Ryan's heart was pounding too hard for peace. He got out of the car, walked to the front door. His legs felt weak. He knocked. No answer. He knocked again. Harder. "Sophia, Sophia, it's me. Please, I just need to talk to you." Nothing. Ryan walked around to the side of the cottage. There was a window. He looked through it, and his breath caught in his throat. Sophia was sitting on the couch. Just sitting, staring at nothing. Her face was gaunt, thin, pale, dark circles under her eyes that makeup couldn't hide because she wasn't wearing any makeup. Her hair was pulled back in a messy ponytail. She wore sweatpants and an oversized sweater. She looked hollow, empty, like someone had reached inside and scooped out everything that made her Sophia. This was what the lies had done to her. Ryan's eyes filled with tears, his hand pressed against the glass. She'd been destroyed, completely destroyed. By lies, by betrayal, by Lauren's manipulation. And Ryan hadn't been able to stop it, hadn't been able to protect her. He went back to the front door, knocked again, louder this time, desperate. "Sophia, please. I know you don't want to see me, but you need to hear this. Lauren set me up. She manipulated everything." Still no response. Ryan's voice cracked. "Please, Sophia. Please just give me 5 minutes. Let me show you the truth. That's all I'm asking." 5 minutes. He pressed his forehead against the door, tears streaming down his face now. "I love you. I never stopped loving you. And I'm not leaving until you hear the truth." Inside the cottage, Sophia sat on that couch, staring at nothing. But her hands were trembling because she'd heard every word. Ryan knocked harder, pounded, his fist against the wood echoing across the quiet lake. "Sophia, please. I know you don't want to see me, but you need to hear this." Silence. Then finally he heard movement inside. Slow footsteps, hesitant. The door opened, and Ryan's heart broke all over again. Sophia looked terrible, worse than he'd imagined. She'd lost weight, too much weight. Her cheeks were hollow, dark circles shadowed her eyes. Eyes that used to sparkle with life and passion now looked empty, dead. "Go away, Ryan." Her voice was flat, emotionless. "Not until you hear the truth, the real truth." She tried to close the door. Ryan put his hand on it, gentle but firm. "Lauren set me up. She manipulated everything. Jessica, The photos, the timing, all of it. Sophia's eyes flashed with anger, the first real emotion he'd seen. Don't you dare blame my best friend! She's in love with you, Sophia. The words came out in a rush. She has been for years. And she couldn't stand that you chose me. So she destroyed us. Sophia stared at him, shock replacing anger. You're lying. I'm not. Ryan pulled out his phone. Look, security footage, visitor logs, Jessica's statement. Lauren orchestrated everything. He showed her every piece of evidence. The timestamps proving he wasn't even in the building. The footage of Jessica visiting Thomas Reynolds. Not him. The dates. The facts. Sophia's hands started shaking as she looked at the screen. Really looked. No, Lauren wouldn't. Call her. Ryan's voice was quiet now, gentle. Ask her yourself. Sophia stared at him for a long moment. Then with trembling fingers, she picked up her phone. Dialed. Lauren answered on the second ring. Soph, are you okay? Sophia's voice was barely a whisper. Ryan's here. He says you set him up. Tell me it's not true. Silence. Long, devastating silence. Lauren? Then Lauren's voice came through the phone, quiet, resigned, like she'd been waiting for this moment. I did it because I love you. Sophia's face crumbled. Her entire body started shaking. What? I've always loved you, Sophia, for years, and I couldn't watch you marry him. I couldn't stand it. The phone dropped from Sophia's hand, clattered onto the porch. Lauren's voice still coming through, muffled now, apologizing, explaining, justifying. Sophia collapsed. Ryan caught her, pulled her against his chest, held her as she sobbed. Deep, wrenching sighs that shook her entire body. I left you. Her voice was broken, destroyed. I left you for a lie. Oh God, Ryan, what did I do? Shh, it's okay. It's going to be okay. I ruined everything. She was crying so hard she could barely speak. Our wedding, your reputation. Us, I destroyed us. Ryan cupped her face in his hands, made her look at him. You were protecting yourself. You thought I betrayed you. That's not your fault. But I should have listened. I should have believed you. How could you know? His own eyes were wet now. The evidence looked damning. Lauren made sure of it. She manipulated you. She used your trust against you. Sophia's legs gave out completely. Ryan guided her inside, to the couch, sat beside her, held her as she cried. For hours they sat there, talking, crying, piecing together what had happened. Sophia explained things Ryan hadn't known. How Lauren had been planting doubts for months. Subtle comments, little warnings. She'd say things like, Jessica's back in town, did you know? Or Ryan's working so late. You sure everything's okay? Ryan's jaw tightened. She'd point out women at events, ask if I ever worried, plant these tiny seeds of insecurity. She primed you, Ryan said quietly. Yes. Sophia's voice was hollow. So when the photos came, I was already looking for proof, already expecting betrayal. And when I saw you hugging her, she closed her eyes. It confirmed everything Lauren had been telling me. She manipulated you, used your love and trust against you. Ryan pulled her closer. That's not your fault, Sophia. That's hers. Sophia looked up at him, her eyes red and swollen. Can you forgive me for walking away, for not trusting you, for believing the worst? Ryan pulled her close, pressed his lips to her forehead. There's nothing to forgive. You were hurt, deceived by someone you trusted completely. If anyone should be asking for forgiveness, it's me for not fighting harder to prove the truth. You tried. I wouldn't listen. Because Lauren made sure you wouldn't. They held each other as the sun set over the lake. Two broken people finding their way back to whole. 2 months later, they stood in a small chapel. Not the grand church with 200 guests. This was intimate, just immediate family. A handful of real friends, people who loved them, people who'd stood by them through everything. Lauren wasn't there, obviously. Sophia had cut her off completely. Lauren had sent letters, dozens of them, apologies, explanations. pleas for forgiveness. Sophia had burned every single one. Now she stood in a simple white dress, no elaborate gown, no veil, just her. Beautiful, real, alive again. Ryan wore a simple suit, no tuxedo, no pretense. The judge smiled at them. Do you, Ryan Mitchell, take Sophia Hayes to be your lawfully wedded wife? Ryan looked into Sophia's eyes. I do. I always did. Do you, Sophia Hayes, take Ryan Mitchell to be your lawfully wedded husband? Sophia's eyes filled with tears. Happy tears this time. I do. And this time nothing will make me walk away. They kissed as their small group applauded. Real, genuine. No whispers, no doubt. Just love. 6 months later, they sat on the porch of the lake cottage. They'd bought it, made it their weekend escape. Sophia leaned against Ryan's shoulder, watching the sunset over the water. The same water that had reflected her broken state months ago now mirrored something beautiful. Healing. I almost lost you because of one lie, she said softly. Ryan kissed the top of her head. But the truth brought us back together, stronger than before. I'll never doubt you again, and I'll never give you reason to. They kissed as the sun painted the sky in shades of gold and pink. Two people who'd survived betrayal, who'd fought through lies, who'd found their way back to truth and love. One lie destroyed everything, a carefully crafted deception that tore apart two people who were meant to be together. But the truth rebuilt it all, stronger, deeper, more real than ever before. Sophia walked away because she believed she was protecting herself. She thought she was seeing reality, but she was protecting a false narrative, one her best friend had built brick by brick. Sometimes the people we trust most are the ones who hurt us deepest, not because we're naive, not because we're foolish, but because love requires trust, friendship requires vulnerability. And when that trust is weaponized against us, the damage runs soul deep. Ryan could have given up, could have let bitterness poison him, could have walked away and let the lies win. Instead, he fought, he investigated, he uncovered the truth, and he didn't stop until Sophia knew what was real. Because that's what love does. It fights for truth, it refuses to let lies have the final word. And in the end, truth doesn't just set you free, it brings you home. Have you ever been betrayed by a friend you trusted completely? Or have you been falsely accused of something you didn't do? Share your story in the comments below. Your experience might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you that truth is worth fighting for, and that love can survive even the cruelest lies, hit that subscribe button right now. We share powerful stories about love that survives betrayal, truth that heals the deepest wounds, and the courage to fight for what's real when the whole world believes a lie. Because sometimes one lie can shatter everything, but one truth can rebuild it all.